Join us in our latest video, Chris Gardner, Net Worth, Lifestyle and Biography, as we explore the incredible journey of the man who inspired the film The Pursuit of Happyness. From his humble beginnings and struggles with homelessness to his rise as a successful entrepreneur and motivational speaker, Chris Gardner's story is one of resilience and triumph. Discover his impressive net worth, take a look at his unique lifestyle, and delve into the details of his remarkable biography. Don't miss this inspiring and comprehensive look at Chris Gardner's life and legacy. Christopher Gardner is an American businessman and motivational speaker. During the early 1980s, Gardner struggled with homelessness while raising a toddler son. He became a stockbroker and eventually founded his own brokerage firm, Gardner Rich & Co., in 1987. Born February 9, 1954, age 70 years, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, United States. Spouse, Sherry Dyson, M. 1977 to 1986. Children, Christopher Jarrett Medina Gardner, Jacintha Darlene Gardner. Siblings, Kimberly Triplett, Sharon Triplett. Parents, Betty Jean Triplett, Thomas Turner. Christopher Gardner net worth $70 million. Early years. Gardner was born in Milwaukee, Wisconsin on February 9, 1954, to Thomas Turner and Betty Jean Gardner. He was the second child and the only boy born to Betty Jean. His older half-sister, Ophelia, is from a previous union. His younger sisters, Sharon and Kimberly, are children from his mother's marriage to Freddie Triplett. Gardner did not have many positive male role models as a child, as his father was living in Louisiana during his birth, and his stepfather was physically abusive to both his mother and his sisters. Triplett's fits of rage made both Gardner and his sisters constantly afraid. In one incident, Betty Jean was imprisoned when Triplett falsely reported her to the authorities for welfare fraud. The children were placed in foster care. When Gardner was 8 years old, he and his sisters returned to foster care for the second time when their mother, unbeknownst to them, was convicted of trying to kill Triplett by burning down the house while he was inside. While in foster care, Gardner first became acquainted with his three maternal uncles, Archibald, Willie, and Henry. Of the three, Henry had the most profound influence on him, entering Gardner's world at a time when he most needed a positive father figure. However, Henry drowned in the Mississippi River when Chris was 9 years old. The children learned that their mother had been imprisoned when she arrived at Henry's funeral escorted by a prison guard. Despite both her very unhappy marriage and her periods of absence, Betty Jean was a positive source of inspiration and strength to her son Chris. She encouraged Gardner to believe in himself and sowed the seeds of self-reliance in him. Gardner quotes her as saying, "You can only depend on yourself. The cavalry ain't coming." Gardner also determined from his early experiences that alcoholism, domestic abuse, child abuse, illiteracy, fear, and powerlessness were all things he wanted to avoid in the future. Career as a stockbroker and entrepreneur. In 1987, Gardner established the brokerage firm, Gardner Rich & Co., in Chicago, Illinois, an institutional brokerage firm specializing in the execution of debt, equity, and derivative products transactions for some of the nation's largest institutions, public pension plans, and unions. His new company was started in his small Presidential Towers apartment, with startup capital of $10,000 and a single piece of furniture, a wooden desk that doubled as the family dinner table. The Rich in the name was in honor of commodities trader Mark Rich, who had no connection to the company and whom Gardner had never met, but whom Gardner considered one of the most successful futures traders in the world. After Gardner sold his small stake in Gardner Rich in a multi-million-dollar deal in 2006, he became CEO and founder of Christopher Gardner International Holdings, with offices in New York, Chicago, and San Francisco. During a visit to South Africa to observe elections around the time of the 10th anniversary of the end of apartheid, Gardner met with Nelson Mandela to discuss possible investment in South African emerging markets. Gardner was planning an investment venture there which he hoped would create hundreds of jobs and introduce millions in foreign currency into the country's economy. Gardner has declined to disclose details of the project, citing securities laws.